I was born here. I went all the way up through high school here, then went to college at NC State and Wake Forest and Auburn University in Alabama, back on the faculty at NC State for 12 years as a faculty member, and then went with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service in Washington, head of research, and later deputy director of the whole service, and then later associate director of natural resources for the Park Service. So that's been the track of my career, and I was originally from here, my wife from here too, and so we, when I retired, we stayed up there for a while, then we moved back down here. Well, I'm retired, and these are my hobbies, and other people are interested in it. Well, I've only written 3. The first one was back about 1970, and then 2 years ago I wrote a second book, and now this is a third book. It's a children's book. It's a follow-up to an article I wrote in Wildlife in North Carolina 2 years ago. More of an adult kind of thing. And it was probably the best magazine article I've ever written, because I say that because of the reaction I got from readers. Several people got in touch with me wanting to paint an owl from the photographs. 2 people made carvings of an owl based on the photographs. A lot of comments about the article, so my friends urged me to write a children's book, and I did. I've taken about over 100 people up to see the owl, and so there's been so much interest in it, I just decided, but because of the magazine article and because of the interest in people wanting to go see him, I said, I'll write the story about the experience, how it all started, how it goes, what happens when I go up the swamp, all that kind of stuff. So the owl and I have a friendship in the swamp. He finds me or I find him. When I call him, he comes and lights on a certain limb. I throw him a fish, he comes and gets it. And sometimes if I'm a little too slow, he'll light on the island and like, what's taking you so long? It's a nice little story. It's a true story, and a relationship I've had with an owl that's now 8 years old, 8 years. Barred owl, B-A-R-R-E-D, barred owl. He's the one that most people know as a hoot owl because he does a hoot. He says, most people call it sounds like, who cooks for you? Who cooks for you all? When he calls. It's a common owl in wetland areas like swamps and wet forests. There are other owls that live other places, but that's where barred owl lives. I joke that the owl has taught me to bring him a fish, and I've taught the owl where I want him to sit so I can photograph him, and how I want him to fly so I can get the photographs. For example, there's one in here of him coming down to grab the fish. That is Hootie right there. That's me, and Hugh Cashin took this picture of me and Hootie. The little book has about, I think, 23 pictures of Hootie, many of them in action, shows where Hootie was born, all that kind of stuff. And it tells how I started the relationship by carrying a recorder up there and calling, and how he came to see about the recorder. He thought maybe it was one of his parents, I think, and he came to see it, and he kept coming to see it, and then he started calling back to my recorder. So the recorder and the owl started talking to each other. So from that, we developed kind of a relationship. Well, Hoot is still doing fine, and one of the questions people often ask me is, what happens when you don't get to go see Hootie? Like right now, the swamp is frozen. There have been 2 times, as much as 4 months in a row, that I could not get there. Both times, after I got back up there, after 4 months, called him, he came, and we seemed happy to see each other. So he manages on his own when I'm not there. He goes and catches mice and things like that. I appreciate your interest in it.